Dhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the daily Śrīmad Bhāgavatam study. And we're on the 11th canto, chapter 8, text 10. Should be the text 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 8, Text 10. Anubhyascha mahabhyascha shastrebhya kushalo naraha sarvata saram adadyat pushpebhya iva shatpada. Anubhyascha mahabhyascha shastrebhya kushalo naraha sarvata saram adadyat pushpebhya iva satpada. Translation. Just as the honeybee takes nectar from all flowers, big and small, an intelligent human being should take the essence of all religious scriptures. Purport. In human society, the original knowledge is called Veda, and the essential part of Veda, or knowledge, is Krishna consciousness. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Vedeshcha sarve rahamba eva vedya. From the honeybee, an intelligent being should learn to take the essence, or nectar, of all knowledge. A honeybee does not waste its time trying to carry away the entire bush or garden, but rather takes the essential nectar. We may study the difference between the honeybee and the ass, who carries heavy loads. Education does not mean becoming an intellectual ass carrying heavy loads of useless knowledge. Rather, one should accept knowledge that leads to an eternal life of bliss and understanding. At the present time, people generally have a sectarian concept of religion, and there is no scientific understanding of the absolute truth. Such complacent, dogmatic, sectarian religiousness can certainly learn something from the example of the honeybee given in this verse. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantika Katanchana Smite Yasmin Duskaram Sukaram Bhavet Vismite Biparitam Shat Shri Chaitanya Namamitam. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. What a wonderful verse. So we are in a section, the B section of the 11th canto. And there are three types of bees that have been discussed. You got the honey collector, three different kinds of. They have one that doesn't store honey, one that does store honey, and one that just takes a little nectar, and one who's like capturing it all. So we're gonna hear. So you have this is the Brahmara. So he wanders from flower to flower, and he gathers a little from many places and only takes the essence. And then you have what is called the Mashika. This is a different type of bee. And the Mashika is used as two different examples. One that does takes what it's need but doesn't accumulate. So this relates to like living, and that's gonna be coming up in other verses. And the one that's storing is going to be coming up as well, which is a lesson on not hoarding and on how to live simply. But this is about our kind of spiritual perspective. How do we relate to different religious scriptures? How do we relate to different religious practitioners? This is about deriving the essence of spirituality. So anubhyascha mahabhyascha sastrebhya kushalo nara sarvatasaram adyat pushpebhya eva sappada. So you have what is called the Saragrahi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about the Saragrahi Vaishnava, the essence-seeking Vaishnava. Just like the devotee, just like Kṛṣṇa, he is Bhavagrahi. He is always looking at what is the essential type of relationship that the living entity is trying to reach out towards him, that Kṛṣṇa is taking account of the essence of the devotee's relationship and not so concerned about so many of the external things. So Kṛṣṇa is acting like this, and so his devotee is also Saragrahi. He is seeking the essence. And here in the purport you hear about Bharavahi. So you have the Saragrahi and the Bharavahi. So Bhara is weights. Like remember we in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10th canto, you hear about the Shamantaka jewel, how it produced, I think, something like 80 bharas of gold every day. If somebody has that jewel and worships it, it would produce gold. So bhara is something like 70 pounds, 80 pounds. I forget what the measurement is. But bhara means weight. And bharavahi is to carry, like a vahana, like a vehicle. So the one who carries a lot of weights. Who's the one who carries a lot of weights? The ass, the donkey. And who's the one that gets just the essence? That would be called the bee or the swan. And so you have this famous Sanskrit subhashita. Subhashita means just a common famous saying. So hangsha shveto baka shveta ko bedo baka hamshayoho nirakshira viveka tu hamsha hamsho bako baka. So you have the crane and the hangsha. Now it's kind of debatable. What is the hangsha? Is it just a swan? I know that Ravindra Swarup did an article some 15 years ago about the super bird described in the Vedas, and he had this one bird, which he said this is what the Hamsa is, and so this is a bird who has a special type of lung system. I think it's called the blue-necked crane or waterfowl, or I forget the blue-necked goose or something. It doesn't have like a very fancy name, like a very beautiful name, like the word swan. It symbolizes beauty. But this bird, it can fly up to 30,000 feet in the air. So when you're on your, American Airlines or Etihad, and you're at the very summit of your flight, these birds fly at that same height. It's insane. They fly over the Himalayas. And so in the Vedas, or in the Vedic literature, you have this subhashita, this famous saying, that the hangsha has this special ability that if you mix water and milk, it can just take out the creamy milk and leave the water behind. Of course, we know there are different kind of waterfowl that have special filtration systems. Maybe he has some type of enzyme that he's able to take the food part and leave the water behind. But basically, this is explained in the Vedic literature that the Hamsa has this particular ability. So he's a Saragrahi. He's seeking the essence. And the bee also, he doesn't take the whole tree, he doesn't take the whole plant, he just takes the most essential, sweetest nectar of it. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has this wonderful book called the Sri Krishna Samhita. And he talks about the ass-like and swan-like mood. That the ass-like mood leads to dogmatism. It leads to sectarianism. And the swan-like mood doesn't. And so he describes that there are basically three levels of spiritual practitioners. You have the Kṛṣṇa. He says this is the one that only has the element of faith. They don't have reason. They don't have logic. They don't have argument. And they're just, they have only faith alone. And that's all that they have to work with. So then he says you have the Madhyama. The Madhyama has both faith, but he also has intelligence and reason. And then he says the Uttamadikari, he has both of these completely harmonized. And so he describes in the Sri Krishna Samhita that sectarianism is a natural byproduct of eternal religion entering the temporary world. Let's let in Isaiah's iPad. So it's a natural byproduct when you put eternal spiritual principles and you enter it into the temporary material world with all of its different material varieties. Those material varieties that when the eternal religion is put into one location, then in that location, people become attached to particular principles and particular practices that develop based on the time, place, and circumstance of those places. And they develop a respect and attachment for what they're doing, and then they develop also a disgust or hatred of others, what they're doing. And so this is an effect of the eternal situation mixing with the temporary situation. And so he presents these three different levels of how someone can become, that lead to sectarianism. So here I can bring up. Okay, everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you have what is called alochaka gata. Alochaka gata. This means that the difference, the sectarianism, is based on the appearance, and so that which is found on the practitioner. So, one place you say shave here, the other place says don't shave there, shave everywhere else except for here. And then someone has a little curlicues on the side. There's, in some places they say, no, shave the beard and wear the mustache. The other one says, wear the mustache, shave the beard. So the difference of appearance, maybe have tilak, different. There's different signs that are there on the practitioner itself. Then you have what is called alochanagata. Alochanagata means that the consideration is not necessarily just on the practitioner, but in what they're doing. So, let's everyone stand and pray. No, everyone kneel down and pray. Okay, come to the temple, take your shoes off, leave your turban on. If you're a Sikh, this is what you do. Take your shoes off, leave your turban on. Come to the church, leave your shoes on, take your hat off. And so there's all these different differences in practices. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the Kṛṣṇa, he is very much affected by this external things. You see somebody and they externally look different, and it can lead to conflict. He said that the ass-like mentality can even lead to the point where a person doesn't see another person as a real human being, and he says it may come even to the point of violence and murder. So this is alochakagata. They become very offended by the difference of appearance, and then especially then by the difference of practice. He said this is not so much with the Madhyamas. He says that Madhyamas may even ridicule the kind of ritualistic deity worship of the Kanishtas. But he said this kind of Madhyama is ass-like. This is also Bharagrahi. Just because one is a Kanishta or a Madhyama doesn't necessarily mean that they're swan-like or ass-like. They can also have that, the Kṛṣṇa Madhyama, it's a level of the development of faith and their harmonization of faith and spiritual realization. That's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is using these terms. But here it's also saying the mentality, the type of respect that one has towards others and other spiritual traditions, that is something that he has on a different level, that he divides into just swan-like and ass-like, bharavahi and saragrahi. So then you have alocyagata. So alocyagata is the difference in philosophy. Someone says, oh, there is eternal hell, or you should worship the deity, or God is a person, God is not a person. There is you should have a vegetarian diet. So these are differences in philosophy. This is definitely for the Madhyama, this is quite an important thing. But if someone is a swan-like Madhyama, not an ass-like Madhyama, definitely the Kṛṣṇa cannot deal with very well a difference in philosophy. The Madhyama may or may not. The Uttama Adhikari, he can deal with this because he understands that there are different levels that someone is. How do we let Dana K in the room? Understand that there's different levels by which someone is practicing, that he understands that there are different mentalities and different practices and different levels according to those practices. And so he describes these different levels. I think we're done with the slides here, so let me just get out of here. How do I get it? Oh, Soul Talks. Welcome to Soul Talks. Thanks for coming to Soul Talks. All right. So he describes that there are 5 different levels of spiritual perception or religious engagement. And so first he has the first one is called Shakta. So Shakta means that one is worshiping matter, and that they have an affinity to material nature. So that's much of the world, you have much of the world is basically on this level, this Shakta, just a affinity for matter. Then he has the next level is called Surya. So then you realize, wait, there's some kind of energy behind matter, like this, iPad. There's nothing really happening without the energy. So one is realizing that the energy behind matter is superior. And then he has what is called Ganapatya. So this is like rudimentary understanding of consciousness, maybe even just animal consciousness. And so, a person may see the unity of all life on a rudimentary level. Then you have what is called Shaiva. One starts to understand consciousness as a harmonized status of unity. That there is, Mike Crowley might have longer hair than me. So physically we're different. Somebody may be shorter than me, or taller than me, or smarter than me, or stronger than me, or the bodies are completely different. But what gives that sense of unity, that sense of we say humanity, that we all have a particular type of protection of rights, is something that is not based on the body, because the bodies are different. You have to tap into something metaphysical. And so this is that level. Shaiva is realizing the metaphysical unity of the self, the soul, that we're all one type of being. And then there's called Vaishnava. Vaishnava means realizing that there's a supreme consciousness, that there's a supreme being beyond all this. So this is called the Panchopashana. You have Shakti, this is Durga, Surya, Ganesh, Shiva, and Vishnu. And so these are different levels of consciousness. And he says the one who is swan-like, he understands that people are different levels and thus are being directed and attracted to different things. You have this in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Kamasaster hityajnana prapadyante na devata tam tam imam ashtaya prakatinyata yo yam yam tanum bhakta shara architam ichiti tasharam tamevi vidyadamyaham sataya sharaya yuktas tasararanam ihate labate chatata kaman mamaiva hitan. So he says those who are directed more by material desires, they are directed by me to worship the demigods. And not only do they're directed by me to worship the demigods, I give them the faith in that process, and then I give them the result as well. So you have this yeyatam mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham verse in Bhagavad Gita 4:11. Mama vartmana vartante manu parta sarvasha. He says, according to how someone approaches, I respond accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. And so one may look at this verse and try to find what is the difference between this verse and the heavily criticized verse, not verse, but slogan that was given, I believe, by Vivekananda of Yatamat Tatapat. That Prabhupada Yatamat Tatapat says everyone, whatever the path is, that is the truth. That whatever your idea, that is the path. Yatamat, whatever your opinion is, Tatapat, that is the path. And in a sense that if you have an opinion, then you are creating a path. Basically, whatever you think, that is real. That's the reality. Everyone has their truths. I have my truth. You have your truth. It's all, everyone has their truths. So it seems very subjective that truth is just according to the opinion of others. And here Krishna says, everyone follows my path in all respects. And so, yeyatamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham mamavat vanu vartante manusha partha sarvasha. This vartma, this path is there. So what's the difference between these two statements? And so in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, or in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is sharing that there's reciprocity, and that reciprocity produces different results. We can all go to university, but depending on how we apply ourselves. The university is the substratum, the support of our particular route, but how we apply ourselves, the outcome becomes different. Like, for example, a parent may support a child. They might have 3 children, and they give allowance to all 3. One uses the allowance to buy drugs. One uses the allowance to invest money. One uses the allowance to buy a gift for the father. So all 3 may be under the support to be in a particular path by the father, but the outcome is different. And so Krishna is saying here, I am the substratum of everyone's path. Therefore, in chapter 7, he says, I give the faith and I give the result. But they're trying to, they're worshiping me, but not vidhi, not according to the correct way. They're not approaching me directly. And so I'm directing them according to their type of consciousness. As you have another famous verse, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. Avrita means to be covered. He says, I'm covered by my maya. Not everyone can understand me because they don't want to. And I don't want to interfere with their freedom. So if Krishna was to give, 1/1,000,000,000% of his realization, that he is within every single atom, that the entire universes, the persona who contains all the entire universes, is ever present in his completeness within every single atom, we would be completely forced to surrender unto him. But he doesn't. He covers us up with Yoga Maya. He covers us up with this curtain of illusion. So that love becomes a choice, not a forced relationship, because you can't have some type of forced relationship that is based on love. Love has to be that choice. So he says he's covered, Yogamaya. Now, one may ask, if someone's covered, then how do they see me? He says, Vedaham samatitani vartmanani charjana bhavishyani tabhutani mam tu vedana kṛṣṇa. This covering is a tinted window. I can see you. Vedaham, I know everything that's happened in the past, present, and future, but me, no one knows. I can see you, but you can't see me. And so someone begins to approach the Supreme Lord. And they say, oh energy, you're the energy. You're the pervasive oneness of everything. And so what does Krishna do? If there's sincerity and there's also even the element of affection, he taps that tinted window just a smidge, and the infinite, brilliant glow of effulgence pours out. And, it's like the three villagers who went to see the train station. The first time they heard that there's a train station. They never heard of it. They never seen or heard. These are Aborigines. They've never seen something like a train. So one runs home. What does he tell his friends and family? What's the train like? They say, it's a big, bright light that rumbles with smoke. The other guy stays a little longer. They're all excited, but this one was a little bit more patient. He tried to keep his excitement to a minimum so he could see a little closer. So he saw all the cars and the gears and the people coming on and off with their luggage. And he runs home and tells his friends and family what a train is. The last one gets on the train, sticks his head out the window. He's never been in such a fast vehicle. He has chai in the cafe, and he meets the train conductor. So you have different levels of realization, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, that are revealing different aspects. The Brahman aspect, you're getting the sense of eternality. The Paramatma aspect, you're getting the understanding of where does all this knowledge come from. Kṛṣṇa is the provider of knowledge from within the heart. And Bhagavan, you're seeing this. Where does Ananda come from? Where does actual the pleasure of love? Where does the actual happiness of the soul come from? And that comes from relationship. And so the devotee understands that they're people of different mentalities, and therefore does not have a hatred towards the particular paths. Even if something is oppositanta, it is going against the path of devotion. They don't have hatred and disrespect for the practitioner, but rather they recognize, okay, there's things that we need to reform, but it's not necessarily the individual. It's not a sense of an attachment to a different physical form or practice, or even attachment in the sense of philosophy that leads one to hate, but rather it's a respect for all individuals where they're at. And in that swan-like mentality, the person will try to perhaps elevate the person, but not in a way that we're seeing them as evil or denigrate them or have hatred, because that's what we call bharavahi, carrying the burden of religious knowledge, but actually missing out the essence. As it says here, the donkey, he'll carry everything except for the thing that's important. The bharavahi, he'll carry, there's food all around, but he'll carry everything, thinking that if I carry all this, I'll get some food. I'll get some essence if I carry this burden. But the Saragrahi is like, I'm not going to carry any burden. I'm only going to seek the essence. And on Wisdom Sages every morning they read a nugget. Basically, they read some kind of quote, some kind of quote of wisdom. And the nice thing is that you see that wisdom is ever pervasive. It's eternal, and that if we are seeking, we'll find it. As the Buddha, he was on the banks of a river. He was meditating, and he was trying to figure out how to apply his spiritual path. He was figuring out this Vyuddha Vikalpa, this renunciation and worldly engagement. He was not really figuring out, understanding how to apply it. And then he heard uh, on a boat there was a music teacher with a student, and he said, if you string it too tight, the string will break, and if you string it too loose, it will make no sound. And he was, ah. So the devotee, as we see here, the whole point of this section of the Bhagavatam is that if he's saragrahi, he's learning from a prostitute, he's learning from a bee, he's learning 3 different lessons from a bee, he's learning lessons from the trees, the water, he is seeking lessons all around him. If he's bharagrahi, even if the guru is sitting in front of him, he cannot learn anything if he is ass-like. And so we're encouraged to become swan-like. So I'll stop here and see if there are any questions, reflections, additions, corrections. Mike Crowley's got his hand up, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Fantastic class as always. And within time, your hair will be longer than mine. It's only time that keeps mine longer and yours shorter right now. Eventually, mine will be shorter and yours will be longer. But anyways, this question really revolves around someone else, not me. My faith is very strong. But why not worship material nature? When questions come up, if there was a God, if there was Kṛṣṇa, why would he be so cruel to put us in this predicament of suffering that each and every one of us go through? Why not just worship material nature? Why not be like, great, man, I'll eat all the ice cream, I'll do all this and drink all this and smoke all this and watch all this and go here and go there. Why not? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, why not? Why not? And we've done it for millions of lifetimes. Why not try it again? Pick that old piece of gum off the ground and chew it again. See if there's still some flavor. Maybe we'll get something out of it. That gum that's stuck under the desk, that's already been done, already been tried. Let's give it a shot. Maybe perhaps there's some flavor in it this time. So, yeah, if you really truly find good flavor in it, if it's satisfying, go for it. But if you're not satisfied, that's what we're here for in the for the Bhagavatam class. If we find that this is a little bit of a bland taste, and I've done this over and over again, and I realize this is not enough.
Then why would God be so cruel to put us in this predicament?
So as we mentioned, love is not, love me. If someone comes over and has a gun, he said, Mike Crowley, you love me? You love me, Mike Crowley? He said, yes, I love you. Because there's that force there. So if a living entity does not want to love God and experience a godless world, well, godless world means God is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So if we want to be separate from that reality, then we're in a world that everything is temporary. Everything is not full of complete awareness, and there's definitely misery. And the misery is not forced upon us, but the misery is based on our own actions. That we get karma. It's in a Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada alludes to the fact that our first birth in this material realm is that of Brahma. So we don't have, as Brahma, you don't have headaches and stomach aches and taxes. You're given lordship of a universe, control of the universe, and then we degrade ourselves further. From Brahma, we go down further and further. Actually, it says most Brahmas learn their lesson. They're like, nah, I don't think this is a good idea. Let me go back. That was not a good idea to try to enjoy separately. So the product of love is independence. The byproduct of love is that you must be given the option to enjoy, to choose separately. Like you have the story of Adam and Eve, you have the story of the prodigal son, and you have the story of Lucifer. What do they all have in common? They all had some independence issues. Adam and Eve, was told not to do this. They chose, let me do this. You have the prodigal son. He left the house of the father. He had some, teenager independence issues, and Lucifer as well. And so, in all three stories, they end up the next location was not as nice as the previous location. The prodigal son realized, I'm not happy with my situation, and he returned back to his father, where he was happily received. So similarly, we chose to be in this material world, and as he says, the Vartma, Kṛṣṇa says, I'm facilitating your independence. It's like we're hugging onto the cactus, and you're like, why do you put me here? Like, you're attached and you're holding on. Well, get this cactus off me. Well, no, you haven't let go of it. You haven't released, let go of it. You want me to pull you, to get you off the cactus, but you're the one holding on to it. And so we have this desire to enjoy separately, and therefore Kṛṣṇa does not force his existence upon us. He allows us to enjoy separately, but that enjoyment separately, you can do all the nice things and enjoy the matter. You can do it. That's what karma kanda is all about. Karma kanda is about enjoying matter, doing all the religious things, doing all the right things, so you have material enjoyment. You have just like, say, Ananda Bihari wants to have this experience of flying, and we have a lot of intelligence here in the room, and so we figured out, okay, we're going to set up Ananda Bihari with this nice VR system that gives the real experience of flying. And so he's like, I love this. This is amazing. And there's an addiction that develops. He stops showing up at interfaith retreats. The Bhāgavatam class stops happening because he's every day he wants to be in this flying VR. And so we realize, okay, we gave him the opportunity to enjoy, but we should help him so it doesn't become an entire addiction. So we add some plugins to the program. We add kala, karma, and guna. Kala means in this game everything gets old. It just starts to wear down. It just and then there's karma. Any action he takes in the game, there's a resultant reaction. And guna, things elevate and degrade him. And therefore, in this world, we're playing this game of this virtual reality. And the karma kandis, the karmis, they want to play the game nicely so they can get all the rewards. The jnanis are like, forget this stupid game. I've done this so many times. I don't want to be in this VR anymore. Let me take this thing off. They want freedom. They want moksha. The karmis want to enjoy the game. The jnanis want to get rid of the game. And the devotees want to know, who made this game? Who is the one behind this game? And what is its purpose? And so, instead of enjoying the temporary material nature, or then moving to rejecting the material nature, we find out that it's all somebody else's property, and then we offer it back. Instead of enjoying the wallet that we find on the street, or neglecting the wallet we find on the street, we just give it back to who it belongs to. And then we find that's the real enjoyment. The offering back. The simple act of offering back, that's actual, we don't even have to have the thing. We just have to just offer it back. You take the water, offer it back. That's where the enjoyment is that our nature is to serve with love.
Yeah, you find a wallet and build a temple immediately.
I found a wallet. It's $2,600. I gave it to the guy. He was barely even thankful.
I'll give it to Bhima if I find the wallet. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everybody. Nityananda Prabhu, thank you so much. I appreciated your class. I love how you make things. You take the great concepts maybe that is a little bit intellectual and you make it so palatable. Like in this tradition, like I said before, it's so amazing that there is this teaching about the deer and about just in general about the dove and the other animals, and we can learn from everything. And now you're taking the further concept of this concept of flying like at 30,000 feet, and Kṛṣṇa, you said, and we want to be like this. We don't want to be like a ass, carrying everything just to get food. Food is everywhere around us, like you said. It's so true. So we want to be that person who gets the essence of everything, and that kind of individual. So I like that, also that concept that you introduced today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. There's so
it's a beautiful philosophy.
even the last one that you said, like also that concept that you just introduced too, that we want to find out who created everything, not just to be in the virtual reality or take it off because we're tired of the games, but also to find out who made this reality and just go for that nectar. So thanks for making it palatable. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
It's funny how you say that it's that this is like a metaphor of the virtual reality, but actually it's pretty damn close to the truth. Yeah. Right? It is what it is. Where actually even people who are not devotees are starting to question it's not making sense anymore. We've all been lost in the dream. COVID, I saw a lot of people kind of wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to retire. This isn't what life is about. So everybody took a step up when they, faced a mortal enemy type of thing. And, you just become aware. And as devotees, like you said, you're turning around saying, whence from this reality that I'm in. It's pretty wild. That was really well spoken and very parsed out, like Meru said, very accessible way of understanding material nature, which is the matrix. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And we find that this matrix, it's not even it's conscious. So there's this without mercy, anukampam, without mercy, we can't get out. We actually need mercy. There's no way to figure out how to get out of the matrix without mercy. Krishna, it says that he's kind to the atheists, and therefore we can't understand Krishna or God by logic alone. He'll leave some holes there, like he left the Moshalila. He left a body behind to be kind to the atheists, just to give them an excuse not to surrender. He had the Yadu dynasty. This was also kindness to the atheists, so that there would be critique there. So there's always some option not to surrender, and Krishna leaves it on the board. He doesn't force one to surrender. And I think we have Darshan, and we had Sadhvi had her hand up for a long time, but we might get cut off. But here, maybe.
Thank you. Let's do it during the afterglow, if you can stay in attention. Thank you. Yeah, this is a simulation, and I always knew that Bhima Prabhu was AI generated.
I'm the T800, and I'm coming back for you.
That's the model right before Arnold. He's the T900, so that's the old model.
Yeah, I'm the old model. Yeah, Ananda Bihari might have a chance.
Maybe. You guys are awesome.
The Governor was at the Rath Yatra Festival. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was at LA Rath Yatra this year.
Oh, wow.
I always knew he was a good guy.
Well, in the past, he was into meditation and all that. Maybe he tries Hare Krishna.
He met devotees when he was young. There's a picture of him as a young Venice bodybuilder with sitting with devotees with books.
I remember reading about him. He was saying in the 1980s, when his acting career was starting out and bodybuilding career was over, he had such a busy schedule he couldn't separate his day-to-day. Everything was flowing together. So he got into TM meditation. I didn't know he met devotees though. You know what's also awesome, like the way you explain the reality. But like, okay, we can enjoy, but then we get tired of that gum, like you said, chewing gum, and we want out of that, so to speak, virtual reality. But when you realize that there's a creator and there's somebody who created, and you learn about the creator, and you say, wow.
We got the curtain opening?
Not yet.
Okay.
Wow, like you realize how merciful God is, and that He doesn't want to intrude on our free will. He gave us free will, but He doesn't even want to intrude us. Like Krishna says, He empowers, even if you worship demigods, He empowers you still, and He brings that energy back to Him. So you realize how amazing Creator is. That's why you want to worship even more.
Where's the bag? Where's the plastic?
It's starting right now.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar.
Where's the plastic bag?
It's behind you.
Oh, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So you can say the Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar Goswami Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Mary Prabhu for facilitating the darshan.
I'm moving now.
Welcome to the Afterglow. Meru, you can mute yourself. Welcome to the Afterglow. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, thank you for staying over time. Sadhvi has a question. Go ahead, Sadhvi.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for today. Maybe it's a stupid question, but still I'm going to ask. Because due to that, I have learned that Krishna is with the super soul, is with the individual soul in us. So whatever I do, does Krishna also feel it? Does Krishna taste what I'm tasting, what I'm feeling? Does he feel also the same thing? I know that is a stupid question, but still I'm going to ask. Thank you. And I have another one question, but I would wait. Thank you.
And so yes, perception is all perception is Krishna is the witness of all perception. Upadrashta anumantacha bharata bhota maheshwara. This is in I think 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is the witness and the sanctioner within the heart. So actually, it's described that we don't perceive unless Krishna perceives. Our perception is secondary. It's not that we cause the functioning of the eyes. It's like, say I'm trying to watch the screen here. Now I need internet and I need the laptop. And so the laptop is compared to the physical body, and the internet is compared to the devas. They're the ones that bridge the gap between the soul. This is called. You have this in the Upanishads, and it's in the Bhagavatam as well. The Adhyatmaka, Adhibautika, and Adhidevika, and all three of these things they're interdependent. And it says the verse in this Bhagavatam is talking about finding the one who sees without help. We all see by the help of something else. Like, for example, if I have the laptop but no internet, so I have a body but there's no devas allowing me, the soul, to see through the eyes of the body, then I won't see anything. Because it's not just the body and the soul, it's the devas that are facilitating the path of vision. Or if I have the devas and I have no body, then I'm not seeing anything. Or if there is no soul, but you have the devas and you have a body, but then the deva is a deva of what? If he is the Lord of sight, but he has no living entity to offer sight to, then he has also lost his position he's dependent upon a soul to provide sight so he can be the Lord of sight. So all three of these individuals, the soul, the devas, and the body, have this interdependence to function. And then the verse in the Bhagavatam says, but I want to see that one who sees who's independent, the independent seer. I wrote a little blog about this, the independent seer, if you want to read more. But that's there, yeah. That the devas cause the function of the senses, and the body is the gross thing that our subtle senses are interfacing with. So you have eyes, but you also have the sense of sight. These are two different things. You have your subtle senses. Like you can close your eyes and still picture something in your mind. So you have your senses, and then the physical senses and the subtle senses. When he says manasashtindriyani prakritishnani karshati in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, the living entity carries with his different conceptions of life from one body to another. We're carrying our mind and our senses to one body to another. So we carry our senses with us, but the senses, the facility of the senses are backed by the demigods. That's like our internet. The body is just like the laptop or the TV. It doesn't work without the internet. And we're like the user on the computer or the watcher on the TV. So all three have that interdependence.
Sorry, your answer give me a follow-up question without saying the question that I have another one. But when you say that, then does that mean that in that case, if something that Krishna likes it, can I stop not to take it, even though Krishna likes it? You know what I mean?
So Krishna
Let's
says
say that my taste, there is something that I'm tasting, but still, in the one side, I don't want to do it, but there's some energy, some power in me makes me to do it. Could it be that Krishna wants me to do it still? In that case,
so Krishna is not attached. This is one of the 6 opulences, vairagya. He is completely unattached. It says, udasinad mad asinam. I'm seated as if neutral. So it has no pull on him. Like we told the story about the gopis going to see Durvasa Muni, and Krishna, and then he said, "Say Krishna is a brahmachari," and the waters will part. And then when after they fed Durvasa Muni, Durvasa Muni said, "Say Durvasa Muni is a faster," and the waters will part. And then the Radharani asked the question, "How are you a faster, and how is Krishna a brahmachari? If we just fed you, and Krishna just had a whole night dancing with these ladies, how is it brahmachari?" And then Durvasa Muni talks about how the body and the soul are 2 different things, and the only thing that's really the enjoyer within the body is the mind. And if the mind is attached to matter, then he is considered a material enjoyer. But Krishna has no attachment to matter. He has no attraction to matter. He is not interested in physical bodies of gopis. It's all about love and devotion on the purest platform. So so Krishna is a brahmachari because he is not attracted by anything material. And Durvasa Muni is a faster because he only ate the prasad of the gopis. He was not interested in the enjoyments of this world. And so Krishna has no attraction. It's described that you have 3 different energies of the Lord. So we have this philosophy where it's like say you have the sun, and the light that's around the sun, the light that's on the sun itself, that's called the internal energy, Srimati Radharani. The light comes out of the sun, the rays, that's the living entities. And the light that's seen reflected on a body of water, like if you look at maybe the sun is reflecting on the body of water, that's called the material energy. So the material energy, it gives this presence of life, but there's actually no life there. It's just a reflection. And so Krishna has no attraction. There's no pull for him to enjoy matter. He has no attraction to it.
so if Krishna is with the super soul, then is that a material? Then it's not Krishna. It's just material that is with the soul. Because the super soul, we say super soul is with the soul, right? Then does that mean that is the material super soul?
No. He's seated he's there as a transcendental witness. Where you see, have the two birds sitting.
I understand that, but I mean,
2 birds sitting on a tree.
What I'm thinking, please let me tell. When I'm thinking super creator, doesn't need anything, he could control whatever from wherever. That I believe 100%. But the reason to be not to be outside, but still to be in every one of us, this is the reason that I don't understand. Please help me to understand. Thank you.
So the Upanishads give, many times they give this example, that there are 2 birds on a tree. And it says this, and one part of the story, the example that we forget to mention is that this tree is soon to be cut down also. 2 birds on the tree. One bird is obsessed with the fruits of the tree. And all his consciousness is in the fruit of the tree. And the other bird is simply watching his friend, waiting for him to turn. And so Kṛṣṇa is the other bird, the super soul. He is not interested in the fruit, he's interested in us. And we're on this tree that is soon to die. We're trying to enjoy the fruits on this tree. And so he's not enjoying the fruits on this tree, he's only interested in us.
Thank you.
Which demigod is responsible for doom scrolling? I want
to issue a complaint?
Yeah, I'll submit a complaint. You're sanctioning too much of
That's a
scrolling.
demon, dude. That's a demon that's in control of doom scrolling. It's in our head. It's called dopamine.
Yeah, that's the name. That's the one. Dopamine Asura. Yeah.
Nityananda, speak on that. This dopamine addiction modern Western man has, even amongst devotees. I raise my hand. I'm in the confession booth. This, though I would say my algorithm is really somewhat enlightening. You know, there's a lot of scripture in the scroll, but there's also a lot of, you know, what's going on with the material energy type of stuff, especially nowadays. So how do we deal with that? Is it a dopamine addiction, or is it just that's the way you know, we get that spurts of information and spurts of knowledge and then spurts of entertainment? So give us some Shastra. Bring us down to earth.
Some Shastra. What does the Shastra say about dopamine? We have Kṛṣṇa Prabhu. He's, you know, he's not a big scroller. He says even for, like, you know, persons like him who are deeply studying all the time, he says he does not have the type of focus and concentration that he says trying to read a book. He said, now I got to read one and then maybe switch it up and switch it up. The mind, due to the addictive and destructive nature of the way these systems work, which are basically, you know, you have two industries that use the word user. You have the internet industry, but then you also have the illegal drug dealing industry. They call their customers users. And so we're basically the product, or we're being sold to different advertisement agencies, and therefore the whole system is not they're not benevolent. It's not in our favor, and so yeah, we're being taken advantage of, and therefore it's important to regulate. You know, some devotees say, you know, if fasting on Ekadashi and then doom scrolling, maybe might even do better, you know, just, you know, doing an internet fast or a social media fast may be much more relevant and powerful than, you know, avoiding rice and, you know, of course we still follow
What happens when you go into withdrawals, like when you have like the shakes or something like that, when you pull the phone away from your face?
Yeah, I know how the finger will. I remember I had to return a phone, so I had to borrow somebody else's phone, and it put everything on that old phone, but that old phone didn't have enough space for any of the apps. I could just make phone calls on it, and my finger would go to like the social media app, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even think to do that. Just how did I'm right, and it's trying to download. I was like, no, don't download it. It's gonna the phone's gonna stop working. It's not gonna even be able to work if I download an app on this phone. It doesn't even fit. But just the fact that without thinking, the finger goes to press the social media. So yeah, we become helplessly controlled by material nature. And all these systems are taking advantage.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because you know how we see that painting of the three modes with the strings. Remember that it was in the Gita in the illustrations, the three modes with their marionette and the man working with the shovel and the boss yelling at the man working with the shovel, but they all have strings attached to them by the modes, and we can pulling them, and we can see that we're being pulled. You're right. This is a very nefarious system. Even they might sweeten it with if you happen to have a devotional algorithm, which I don't have, but I'm just saying if you have a devotional algorithm, the simple fact that it trains your brain to only be able to think in short spurts, but not do the long run. Yeah, I got to catch this phone call. Answer me this.
Yes, we agree. Very destructive.
Sadhvi?
Yes. Now, because no one has asked a question, so I thought maybe I can ask this question. You talk about the hair, how different is it with different people in different groups, and there are in Krishna consciousness. I have learned that men have this long, what's it called? I am very bad. Chika. Okay. Does the woman also? No. If the man have it because there is a reason for it, right? But if the woman who has lost all the hair and only have that, is it okay for her to shave it off? Thank you.
I'm on mute. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes you see the widows in India. Sometimes they have shika. Yeah, you sometimes see that as well.
What is the reason for women then? Is it the same reason for like a man?
Yeah, it's a sense of renunciation, simplicity, and renunciation. But it's not a common practice, but it does happen sometimes.
I heard it's where Krishna grabs you, Vishnu grabs you by the shika when he pulls you up out of the ocean when you're ready to go. He pulls you right up, and he needs to grab onto something, so he grabs onto the shika. And women die with a full head of hair, so then you guys don't have to worry about anything. But the guys, we got to have a little something up there.
That's why Bhima's hair is very long.
Yeah. I'm hoping my hair will grow to Goloka Vrindavan, and I'll just climb up it.
But what I mean is, the woman who has this is not that she's for men. They shave around and have that shikab, right? But a woman who has not shaved but that doesn't have nothing, have only shikab. What does that mean then? Is it really the same thing for her also?
So are you saying she naturally has a shika, does no shaving?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty far out. Yeah. That's very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I think we're ready for our choir. Sundari Radha. Karen. Is Karen still here? Yep. Have our
Karen, Annabelle, Isaiah, are you here? There they are. Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Vasudeva Hare.
Thank you, Sage, Sky, Annabelle, Isaiah. Thank you. You are part of Ram's little sadhana. He always grabs the phone when you guys chant. Thank you. Yeah. You remember? What's that? Is that Isaiah and Annabelle? What's that little thing? Is it a demigod? Okay. We don't know what it is. Yeah, who's that? A snake? Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, Hare Krishna, happy Wednesday. We love you. We need you every day. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Say bye-bye to the devotees. Yeah, bye-bye.